On this week's Uncut, I am taking the idea of workaholic from last week's episode and I'm offering you a challenge. I often will use something I call a time audit to take stock of what's going on in my life. So this is what it feels like. I suddenly feel overwhelmed. I've got too many balls in the air and I can't figure out what's going on, or I can't figure out what to process or use as high value tasks. I will slow myself down by taking a minute and looking at last week's calendar. I will go through and I will add up how many hours did I do coaching? How many hours was I in meetings? How many hours was I in volunteer commitments? And how many hours was I home in the evenings? This data, this information is so specific and tangible and moves me out of emotion into my analytical brain, which is really helpful for me as a Pisces and as someone who is a feeler first in the Enneagram. And what you'll find is if you start doing that each week and you make it a habit at the end of your month to take a look and take stock, you'll notice where your time is going. And it's quite fascinating. I remember doing this in the summertime, trying to figure out, where is my time going? What am I doing that is causing me to be so XYZ with work? The numbers and the data don't lie. There may be an element of interpretation that you have when you see the data, but the numbers don't lie. It's just simply fact. This is something I use when I'm asking myself, is it time to grow the team? Or is it time to do a shift? Or am I doing too much volunteering? Or just a matter of like, how am I balancing my flow during the week? Because I have decided, like you heard in last week's episode, that I want to have a huge life bucket and a huge work bucket. And in order for me to have that lovely, big, warm, bouncy life bucket, I need to plan for that. And so I can't be exhausted on Friday afternoon when I finish work because I've got things I want to do on my weekends. So that's your inspiration, your idea, your coaching moment for you today on Uncut. Go back and take a look at last week's data. How many hours did you spend? And you can define the different buckets in different ways. You might also want to put one for family, for example. You might want to put one for professional development. I know for me, exercise is a really important one. I have kind of like a baseline that I know I need to get to, which will influence my mental wellness. It's like a bit like a teeter totter, isn't it? And finding that calibration so you're staying in that even balanced land instead of overdoing one way or the other. And the awareness happens before. That's what I really want to highlight. So collect your data. Find out, be a curious researcher on the way you spend your time, and let me know how it goes.